between Melanie Griffith and Queen Annemarie of Greece. A match that not only exposes Annemarie's face behind a Hollywood star, but also shows her corrupting need to play her movie roles like a slut. Like a slut to lead viewers to sex addiction! Yes, this accusation refers to the film Working Girl, made in 1988. I saw this film. I saw how Melanie Griffith, in her film character Tess McGill, several times stood there like a prostitute in stockings, showing her bare butt directly into the camera. Oh. And apparently, she absolutely had to jump around the apartment naked while vacuuming. But of course, that was not enough. In this film, character Tess McGill, played by Melanie Griffith, also had to compulsively begin a sex affair. And the man Tess McGill briefly slept with was none other than her boss husband, more precisely film character Jack Trainer, played by Harrison Ford. In this sex scene between the two, Melanie Griffith even shows one of her nude boobs right into the camera. I had to censor it. This sex scene between Melanie Griffith and Harrison Ford brings us to another sordid Hollywood scam in film history, because Harrison Ford is actually played by Annemarie's husband, by King Constantine of Greece. So once again, a married aristocratic couple has secretly participated in a Hollywood production behind the cowardly cloak of their fake identities in order to plant their sick cliches of depraved sex addiction in our brains as their subjects. So, Annemarie plays a career woman artificially portrayed as self-assured, whose prostitute-like behavior perfectly reflects the crude nature of the entire film Working Girl. A script intended to entice the viewer into immoral behavior doesn't require outstanding acting. It's enough if the lead actress occasionally shows some skin. And also Constantine, playing Harrison Ford, respectively film character Jack Trainer, had to stumble through a bad script that was designed to corrupt us into immorality. He had to navigate between totally idiotic and unrealistic coincidences so that his affair with Tess McGill wouldn't appear too much like an idyllic romance, but would instead rather present truly immoral taboo violations. But the two matches I just showed are a bit harder to recognize. Constantine, in particular, put a lot of effort into his Harrison Ford disguise, and also Annemarie isn't exactly recognizable as Melanie Griffith at first glance. Therefore, I'll now go through these two matches in more detail, and then, in addition to the particular difficult Harrison Ford case, I'll even show you another piece of evidence related to the family connection involving the fake identity of Don Johnson. Wow! I think that was the most passionate first 5 minutes I've ever filmed for a video. Please give this video a like for that and subscribe to my channel. Now, enjoy the actor-based reality matches. So, let's start with the deeper comparisons between Queen Annemarie of Greece and Melanie Griffith. What immediately catches the eye in this comparison is how easily the wrinkles of the aging Queen Annemarie can be transferred to Melanie Griffith's Botox-like face. So here's another clear case where I'm more inclined to believe it's a mask than shapeshifting. You know how royalty, in my observation, uses both. I see a mask on Melanie Griffith's face because, compared to Annemarie's wrinkled skin, it simply has this artificial plastic sheen, but that's also the only main difference between these two faces. Biometrically, they are absolutely identical. Now let's get to the comparison you can see on the thumbnail of this video. Same facial expression, same biometrics, same face shape, except that with Melanie, the only difference is that the surface of her skin is again lighter and softer due to some kind of glued-on plastic. Well, if you can even call that skin surface. And here's the image comparison I've already shown you. The same eye shape, the same high arched eyebrows, the same mouth shape, everything just fits perfectly again, except that Melanie's Melanie's skin is softer and shinier. This is the image comparison where, in my opinion, the mask is most clearly visible. Melanie's face appears very puffy in direct comparison. Her cheeks, chin and jaw are somewhat rounder and wider than Annemarie's narrow face, and I'm truly convinced that Melanie has been wearing such a mask the whole time, and the plastic shape of this mask artificially creates this puffiness. Here you can see the same aura of both of them when they grin. Also, this comparison is a good practice to see through this a little bit sophisticated disguise. Many would deny it if they only saw the image comparison at this size. But shall we take a closer look? Shall we even get a little bit more closer? Is it clearer now? Now let's turn to this particularly sophisticated disguise that Annemarie's husband, King Constantine, chose for his role as Harrison Ford. This is my best image comparison between the two. The picture I used for Constantine is from 1987, when he was much younger and looked quite different. Anyone can easily find this photo of Constantine. It appears right at the top of a Google image search. And by the way, it's interesting how Harrison Ford's nose is bent so far to the side. This image comparison with the older Constantine makes it clearer that Harrison Ford's face is a slightly thinner version of Constantine's noble face. One has to focus more closely on the transition from Constantine's somewhat rounder facial wrinkles to Harrison Ford's more angular wrinkles, and to Harrison Ford's more angular facial shape to see through this clever disguise. Yes, I know this is a more challenging case, but just practice this stronger focus in the following matches. And here's another image comparison with a slightly younger Constantine, this time also with a slightly younger Harrison Ford. It clearly shows that in earlier times, Constantine's disguise as Harrison Ford was easiest to see through. Here you can see the same eye shape, the same mouth wrinkles, and the same mouth shape on both sides. Well, Constantine only really distinguished his aristocratic face from his Harrison Ford face in later years. Only later did he artificially billow out his aristocratic face into a rounder head shape and rounder wrinkles, while he continued to make his Harrison Ford face rather thin and angular. But because this match with Harrison Ford is so difficult to see, I would like to further prove it with another family connection. The crucial family connection here is that Melanie Griffith was married to Don Johnson, and that even twice. So, shall we see if Don Johnson can also be matched with King Constantine? That would prove that Melanie Griffith is really being played by Constantine's Annemarie. So, yes? Yes? Yes. And now let's check whether Don Johnson and Harrison Ford can be matched. That would prove that both characters are really played by Constantine. Well, it would not only prove, it does indeed really prove everything I wanted to show you. These are very sound matches. Unfortunately, I only briefly touched upon the content of the movie Working Girl at the beginning. Even thought I actually have much more to say about its content. I've seen this movie myself, but to keep this video from getting too long, I'll address the things I wanted to say concerning the story of Working Girl in a second part. There's a reason I introduced all the excessive nudity in this film at the beginning of this first part, and in part 2 I will analyze the primitive mechanisms that a working girl employs to manipulate our consciousness into lust. I will argue that the film's content is nothing more than a series of absurd deceptions, both on a sexual relationship level and also on a corporate business level. This second part won't focus on more matches, but rather on a more detailed analysis of the film's plot to better substantiate the accusations I made at the beginning of this first part. More matches will only be exposed in the third part. There I'll be showing more matches involving the ex-lovers of Melanie Griffith and Harrison Ford. Even thought this first part has already objectively proven the true identities behind Melanie Griffith and Harrison Ford. In any case, the third part will also reveal Antonio Banderas, to whom Melanie Griffith was married for 18 years, and most likely Sigourney Weaver as well, since she also played a major role in the film as Tess McGill's boss. Remember, Tess McGill is a film character played by Melanie Griffith, and the actual wife of Jack Trainer, the film character played by Harrison Ford. That means also the affair partner of Tess McGill. So goodbye and see you in the second part. Your Somnidelius Solertius.